Welcome everyone, Tactical Lich here, and today we have another modded tournament battle to showcase. This time, the Dread King Legions from one of the OVN mods. Now, for the army build here, we are playing as the Dread King Legion, so we're going with a lot of undead troops. Similar to the Tomb Kings, the Dread King Legions is an undead faction based on ancient civilization, but unlike the Tomb Kings based on Egyptian, the Dread King Legions are based on Hellenic civilization, so a little bit closer to the Greek side. Another distinction is that the Tomb Kings do have actual heavy infantry with 90 armor. These royal guards should be able to hold the line pretty well. Even if they get hit by Burning Head, they won't instantly get incinerated like the Tomb Gods. Other than this anti-infantry version, there are also the missile version, the Pelters, and the anti-large versions as well. For the rest of the army here, skeleton warriors in the front line, and at the back there, skeleton hoplites. They do have armor, but not that much, somewhere around the same as Tomb God. So 60 armor, not great, but not bad either, and they should hold the line with their elite melee stats. As for missiles, we have a bunch of skeleton archers, but nothing too amazing. As for the monstrous department, they took heavy inspiration from the Greco-Roman era. This time we're only bringing skeletal minotaurs, but they also have skeletal war elephants and skeletal hydras. Now these skeletal minotaurs are pretty much the same as regular minotaurs, having anti-large and armor piercing, but the great thing about them is that they are undead, so they cannot rout and will hold the line. As for our leadership, we have a single character, the Leech Strategos, with Lore of Death. Just trying to use that Spirit Leech and Fate of Fiona direct damage to my advantage. On the far corners of the battlefield, we have some Vanguard deployed horsemen in case we need to harass on our opponent's back line, and indeed our opponent terrain did bring some Javelin Hunters. Probably expecting me to spam monsters, these javelins with their anti-large can do substantial damage to my monstrous presence, and my Minotaurs will have to avoid them at all cost. They're guarded by a ton of Marauder infantry in the front, regular Marauders, and on the flanks, Marauder spears. At the back there, 4 units of Skin Wolf's armored version, providing quite a bit of holding power and anti-large. Leadership-wise, we have a familiar Bale Fiend with Burning Head and Flaming Sword of Ruin. The Burning Head, of course, is great at clearing out skeleton chaff, but against the Royal Gods, this might be slightly harder. As for the Lord, we have Throg, the Troll King, with the Winter Tooth Crown to provide that unbreakable trait to all units surrounding him, and also fight or die for that additional attack buff. He himself, of course, does have the regeneration trait, making him less vulnerable to Spirit Leech. So that's it for the army build, and now let's get the battle started. Now, the Dread King's Legion's army ability is basically the Realm of Souls of the Tomb Kings, but instead of summoning Ushabtis, they summon skeletal minotaurs. However, this summon is extremely powerful and for balance reasons has been banned from the tournament, so we won't be using it, but this is more than enough with the healing. My front line, skeletal warriors and the Royal Gods plus hoplites at the back are ready to handle the charge of the Marauders. I'll be opening up with the skeletal archers at the familiar Bale Fiend, who is now getting hit by a bit of Spirit Leech. I know that I need to eliminate this fire caster to prevent any more Burning Heads from obliterating my front line. Yes, the Royal Gods and the hoplites still have a bit of armor, but damage is still damage and I don't want to take those. Very clever move from our opponent there, trying to use a Burning Head, but I noticed it and decided to dodge it. So Tarian, my opponent, decided to cast the Flaming Sword of Ruin to cancel the Burning Head cast. It is a cheaper spell than Burning Head, so very clever move to reduce the waste of Winds of Magic. Now at the back there, Marauder Hunters with Javelins are moving up, but they are not in range of their targets as the skeletal minotaurs have been held back, while my skeleton archers are easily opening up at the Marauder Hunters, taking substantial damage already, and my Royal Guard are pushing up. Normally, the Marauder Berserker infantry can easily grind through skeleton warriors and chaff, but today we have the Royal Guard, super elite, heavy armored infantry with anti-infantry bonus. They can actually cleave through the Marauder Berserkers pretty easily, while they themselves are not taking that much damage in return. A bit of a Burning Head at the back there, I can't really dodge this one as the skeleton archers are tied up by Throg, so they took the damage, but they will still try to dish out whatever damage they can before being broken off. At the same time, I've been spamming Spirit Leech on my opponent's key units. The familiar Bale Fiend is already down to less than half health, and the Lich Strategos is also diving down to hunt him down, while at the back there, my skeleton horsemen are pulling back into the deep rear of my opponent's formations, drawing away a lot of these Skin Wolves.
allowing my front line to slowly but surely grind through my opponent's units. While the Marauders can blend through skeleton infantry, they are having a much tougher time once they clash into the more elite Hoplites and Royal Guard. Now with the Royal Guard summon, yes, we do have a Royal Guard summon ability on the Leech Strategos. The Marauder Hunters with their javelins are in deep trouble as the skeleton Hoplites are flanking around as well, sandwiching them in the middle of two very tough units, while the Marauder Spears and the Skin Wolves are knee-deep in the middle of a Hoplite Phalanx. Yes, a Hoplite Phalanx indeed. These Hoplites are poking at the Skin Wolves. Even with their heavy armor and physical resistance, they are not holding up too well here, as their regeneration are not able to keep up with the damage they're receiving from all this anti-large damage from the Skeleton Minotaurs and the Skeleton Hoplites. On the other side there, the Norscan infantry push seems to be doing a bit better, pushing through my Skeleton Chaff mostly as the Royal Guards are too busy chasing off the routed Marauder Hunters and Marauder Spears. Still, there is one unit of Skeleton Hoplites and they are fighting their optimal opponent, the Skin Wolves. Now back to the middle, the Norskins are stuck fighting some very elite formations. More and more Marauders are pouring in, but the Skeleton Hoplites are not gonna go down anytime soon. They still have quite a bit of health left, actually all their unit models intact. They are targeted by a burning head, but their armor did help mitigate some of that damage. Finally, they're taking their first casualties, but still, it's only one single unit model dead. Just like Cathay Infantry, they do enjoy a bit buffs from formation attack. This gives them that extra melee defense and survivability against enemy units, and they're just holding quite strongly, using their shields and spears to slowly but surely grind down their targets. On the far side there, the Leech Strategos and the Skeleton Horsemen are chasing down the remnants of the Marauder Javelins. Skin Wolves are trying to pin down my Lord, but I'll be pulling him out of the fray, sacrificing some of these Skeleton Horsemen to pin down these anti-large monsters, while the Royal Guards are still quite healthy. After all this action, they are now going back to finish off the Marauder Berserkers, who are fighting some Skeleton Hoplites. Yes, they are anti-infantry fighting an anti-large unit, but the Skeleton Hoplites do have the solid melee defense and leadership to just hold. 800 damage value so far, almost recovering their cost, as I do believe they cost around 850 gold. With the help of the Royal Guard, the Berserkers are certainly gonna get crushed. Actually, right now, all three Skeleton Hoplites are still quite healthy. One of them is a little bit more tattered because they are hunted down by Throg the Troll King. That did cause a dent on their HP, but that is fine because they are having more support elements coming in, including a little bit of Skeleton Horsemen for the mass blockage, and of course, the Skeleton Minotaurs have been fighting side by side with them for the whole time. Especially now, more Hoplites are reinforcing this area. Throg is in deep trouble right now, as the Skin Wolves are not quite able to bail him out of all this infantry trouble. I've managed to kill off the Bale Fiend way earlier with Spirit Leech and the Strategos hunting him. Yep, right here, and the Bale Fiend is dead. No more casting, no more Burning Head for the Norskins. The consistent Spirit Leeching and the Leech Strategos diving down to hunt down the Bale Fiend has paid off. Now Throg is isolated, no magic support, and his healing will eventually run out. Same goes for the Skin Wolves, even with their armor. Final Die is now popping up their leadership and melee attack stats, but that is not enough to break down the Skeleton Hoplites. More of them piling in. All three units are consolidating, and I don't have to worry about any blobbing issues because, well, there is nothing to punish my blobs. Another Spirit Leech going down on, I believe, some of the Skin Wolves, with the spells directly draining away the hit points of these monsters, ignoring their physical resistance. They have taken a bit too much damage and are forced off. And now these Skin Wolves are routed off by a surround of spears and the Skeleton Minotaurs as well. Throg is still fighting valiantly, but his leadership can only hold on for so long. I still have some very healthy Skeleton Horses chasing off, eliminating the remaining Skin Wolves armored version as well. With Throg being the only thing left on the Norscan army, this troll does not have the heart to fight on, and the Dread King Legion shall remain supreme. GG to my opponent, Turain. For the army performances, you can see that the skeleton hoplites are actually holding fairly well in the fight, most of them fighting throughout the entire game and still managed to conserve most of their HP. While the royal guards, they took more losses on one unit, but trading against the lightly armored marauder infantry, their heavy armor and better melee stats plus anti-infantry bonus did help them pull out on top. For the rest of the infantry here, the skeleton archers didn't do that much damage, while the skeleton warriors simply died to either burning head or getting wrecked by the marauder infantry. The skeleton horsemen didn't do that much damage, mostly responsible for chasing off routed units, especially the routed skin wolves, preventing them from coming back and using their regeneration, while the skeleton minotaurs earning back quite a bit of value. They do have anti-lodge bonus, plus their armor piercing allows them to penetrate the defenses of the skin wolves with their armor. And of course, Throg did take quite a bit of damage being surrounded by anti-lodge monsters. Lich Strategos providing that Spirit Leech sniping out that Norskin Familiar Bale Fiend, eliminating that Burning Head support, very crucial in helping me winning the game, especially in the late game where I had nothing but infantry left. For the Norskin army here, Throg did okay with his pretty good melee stats, but the Skin Wolves didn't trade that well as they were stuck on a whole lot of Hoplite Phalanx. As for the rest of Norskin infantry, the Berserkers did really well using their offensive stats to eliminate a ton of the skeleton infantry, but in the end, they were still not able to carry this game, as I did have some superior infantry forces. For the Marauder infantry here, none of them really did that well except this one unit of Marauders, I believe. Yes, they did earn back their cost, but the Hunter with Javelins did not really do that much here, mostly shooting at random stuff that are not large targets, so their anti-large bonus have been mostly wasted. And then the Familiar Bale Fiend, unfortunately getting eliminated early in the game, was not able to utilize its full potential. That's it for today's battle. I hope you all enjoy it, and if you want to see more Total Warhammer multiplayer action, be sure to subscribe to my channel. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Tactical Lich, signing out.